Good morning, everybody. My name's Caitlin Hubbard. I'm a licensed professional counselor associate.
And my name is B. Yowzi, and I am also a licensed professional counselor associate.
We are both under the supervision of Dr. Amos, and we are here in the Fredericksburg Clinic at the Frontera Healthcare Network. We're excited to bring you guys another Mindful Monday. Today, we're going to dive into healing generational wounds and taking a look into intergenerational trauma in our mental health. Before we dive into that topic, though, we want to take a moment to recognize our incredible partners. This Wellness Uncorked initiative is made possible through a partnership built through the Texas Wine Auction and Frontera Healthcare Network. This initiative allows us to provide free group counseling classes, educational seminars like this Mindful Monday, health fairs, and more. It's all designed to support the well-being, especially the mental health well-being of our community.
So for today, we're going to jump into our topic, but just before we do that, we want to talk about some simple definitions and terms. The book that we reference a lot and that we use most of our information from is called What Happened to You? Conversations on Trauma, Resilience, and Healing by Dr. Perry and Oprah Winfrey. Dr. Perry is a well-known psychiatrist who has helped people through trauma and traumatic events such as the Columbine shooting, to name a few examples, and 9/11. And so he has a wealth of knowledge that me and Caitlin just thought we should share with you guys.
If you guys are interested in taking a deeper dive into this book, we will put it in the chat so that way you can access it that way as well.
So we're going to talk a little bit about trauma first. So trauma can stem from minimal or major life events, okay? And so what we like to think of is the 3 E's that Dr. Perry talked about: the event, the experience, and the effects. So the event is what happened. The experience is the personal perception of that event. So how we take in that event. It can be different for every single person. No two people experience the same thing. And then effect. So the result or the impact on the behavioral health and relationships to that event. So for example, if someone got in a car accident, which is the event, the experience, they were overwhelmed, fearful, angry maybe, and then the effect, they have headaches or they have a big fear of being in a car with other people or experiences like that. So you kind of see the pattern of the 3 E's in trauma.
Some more definitions we want to touch on is relational poverty. This is a lack of consistent caring connections that can be damaging as and neglectful. Dysregulation, when trauma disrupts emotional balance, people tend to rapidly shift into states like anxiety or fear due to lower thresholds of activation. And then generational trauma, the transmission of trauma or its legacy in the form of psychological consequence of an injury or attack, poverty, and so forth, from generation to generation, and just keeps going and affecting everybody in each generation.
Mm-hmm. So now we're going to talk about the 3 R's. So we have repetition, regulation, and relationships. Caitlin, do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
So if we look at repetition first, the healing requires repeated positive experiences to form new neural pathways that override trauma conditioned pathways. So we need that repetition in order for our brain to rewire into a more of a positive type of connection. And then regulation. These are techniques that are going to help to soothe our nervous system, like rhythmic movement, breathing work, or sensory strategies, just to help us with our dysregulation and to get us more back to a kind of like a soothing state. And then relationships. Relationships are super important. Healing happens through connection, supportive, attuned relationships with our families, friends, our community. They help to rebuild trust and restore our self-regulation.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about rhythm, movement, and creative expressions. So activities such as walking, dancing, listening to music, anything that helps you move from dysregulation to regulation. I know for some people it really is doing yoga, some other people it's doing art outside. So finding what works for you is very important. And you can talk to a therapist about that to find what's going to work for you during those times where you need to regulate.
I know for myself, I like to put my headphones on and just maybe walk or go to the gym and just kind of reset myself. And B, what do you like to do to help
Um,
regulate?
for me, I really enjoy painting because it causes me to not
Mm,
think about what's going on right now. When I start to paint, I think of, okay, what am I painting? What colors am I going to use? So something that just helps you get out of what you're in can help drastically.
for sure. Back. Okay, so we talked about kind of things we can do individually. Co-regulation is also really important. Co-regulation is when a person supports another in regulating their emotions, thoughts in a supportive environment, such as coaching and through therapy. Practices like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, and mindfulness build awareness of internal states and support emotional regulation. So not we can always rely on ourselves, but it's also important to rely on others if we're feeling like we're needing a little bit more support and getting back to a good state.
So now we're going to talk about three C's, as we like to say. We're on three R's, E's, and now C's. So community, connection, and cultural practices. So connection to people. I know we already talked about it, but it is so important to find your people group, people who are going to welcome you and accept you for who you are, and the safe people to talk about hard things with. Not all the time we can talk to random people about what we're going through. So finding people that you can really connect with and who understand you. And then we're going to talk about cultural practices. So whether that's religious practices, whether that's church, whether that's going outside in nature, whether that's finding other things culturally that really fits you. It's having those shared beliefs with other people and stories that give you meaning, but also provide you that extra support and communication and connection.
So what can we take away from this? Practicing self-compassion. So when you notice challenging thoughts or feelings or behaviors, try asking yourself, what happened to me instead of being so self-critical. This shift in perspective can foster greater understanding and compassion for yourself. Um, And to kind of reiterate this really important point, prioritize connection. Actively cultivate and nurture positive relationships in your life. Make time for meaningful interactions with people that you really care about and feel safe and supported by. You can reflect on early experiences. Consider how your early childhood experiences might have shaped your narrative, and how you perceive the world and relationships today because of that. This reflection can bring valuable insights into reoccurring patterns and then maybe help you in the shift to changing those patterns. You can pay attention to your body signals, recognize that physical symptoms can sometimes be linked to past trauma. Be mindful of any chronic pain or discomfort and explore potential emotional roots. Be previously mentioned like headaches and body aches and things like that. Like those are symptoms of trauma as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think too, when you're talking to a therapist or you're trying to figure out, okay, why am I always getting headaches when I'm thinking about this event? Or why does my stomach hurt when I'm about to get in the car, right? Like from that past experience of a car wreck. So keeping a journal where you can say, okay, at this point, I'm feeling this, and this is what's happening in my body, and talking to your therapist about it and having that log can help us better help you. But also see where you're improving in growth or some areas of improvement where you need to just kind of continue to talk to your therapist about and creating a better treatment plan for you.
Yeah.
So some other actionable takeaways, again, seeking therapeutic support when needed. So we already talked about finding that community, finding those people that you feel safe with, but sometimes people are just people and they're not trained therapists or psychologists or psychiatrists who can really give you the experience and also the knowledge to help you through some really hard, challenging things that have gone on in your life. So, having someone like a therapist can help you with that, especially a trauma informed therapist. And then we're going to have creating healthy rewards. So engaging in activities and relationships that bring you joy, again, and fulfillment to help you regulate the reward bucket in healthy ways. It can also motivate you to continue to do the things that you're doing, right? We always like those little rewards. And then being mindful of transgenerational patterns. So really considering how your experiences and behaviors might have been passed down in your family and through the generations. Something that I really enjoyed, and me and Caitlin were like, oh, we definitely have to talk about this, is genograms. So genograms is something that you can do with your therapist, and you basically go through and you make a family tree with your whole family, and you kind of talk about each and every person and how they impacted you in either a positive or a negative way. And through that, the therapist can help guide and find those generational patterns that you may not have known yourself. So we really love genograms. It's something very powerful, and it's very engaging to the client.
Yeah, I think it's just a great way to maybe take a deeper dive into yourself and your family in a way that you haven't before. And then it just brings more awareness to certain things that you may be going through. And then essentially will help you in finding, maybe a pathway that's going to benefit you as you move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to go back to shifting the question. We touched on this a little bit, I think like 2 slides ago, but we want to move away from the question, what's wrong with you or what's wrong with me, to what happened to you or what happened to me. This helps to reframe the trauma from blame to understanding and fostering compassion for ourselves or for others.
So, why this matters? So, Dr. Perry's approach emphasizes the healing isn't just an internal process, it's relational, it's gradual, and it's embodied deeply in the human, right? So, we have things that are deeply innate in us. And when we work with a therapist who's trained and things like that, they can really help us grow in that resilience and provide more empathy towards ourselves. So, we can be kinder and more compassionate towards ourselves and others. And the story in the book, trauma and what happened to you, it really helps us create new healing experiences and to move forward in our lives.
If you're ready to take the next step in prioritizing your mental health, we invite you to attend our Thrive Connection group counseling classes. They will be available free through the Wellness Uncorked initiative. These classes are going to be led by our licensed professional counselor associates like B and myself, and are open to individuals and their immediate family members who are working in hospitality, service, and or retail industries. Frontera also offers individual counseling and medical services, both in person and virtual. We do take a lot of different insurances and offer a sliding scale to make healthcare affordable. If you'd like to learn more about that and the services we provide, you can call 325. Looks like the number was updated. Excuse me. So you can please call 830-362-2185. Or you're always free to visit our website for more information. We thank you for joining us for this Mindful Monday. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the chat, and we would love to get back to you on that. Also, don't forget, if you found today's session helpful, you can like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you never miss a Mindful Monday. We go live on the first Monday of every month with a different topic. Of course, we appreciate you being here today, and we hope to see you next month when we tackle the next topic. Take care and have a great rest of your day.
Bye.